Hello friends, welcome to Political Baba. My name is Prasanna Jangam. I'm a political commentator and a Congress Party worker. Today, I'm going to be speaking on the topic Congress Party needs contented members in the assemblies and in Parliament, especially as we are headed for the Lok Sabha polls. I'm going to go ahead and speak on how a contented person, helps out and contributes to the party in a heavy manner. Like I've said in other of my videos, politics is not policies. Politics is not being good to people. Mainly, not in a bad way. Politics is philosophy. Politics is psychology. Politics is reasoning strength. The guy with the heavier head, the guy that can reason heavy and long consistently, that guy is gonna be the chief minister. That is the guy who's gonna be the prime minister. It's that simple. If it was only the goodness or the goodwill and the ability to make promises come true on ground was the criteria to win the elections. 2018 election in Telangana and 2019 election at the center was Congress's elections were Congress's elections, but that didn't happen. So that is one of the proofs that tells us that reasoning strength is the thing. Heavy image, that's a guy who's more likely to sit on power than any other, the good guy or the most capable administrator. So I'm going to speak on few recent incidents and tell you how a contented guy would be countering them, presenting them. Right after Revant Reddy, our chief, stepped into the power when he became the chief minister. What I thought, probably many more might have thought the same way, but what I thought was, we're all good for the next 4.5 years, and 2028, probably around June and July, 6 months or around leading up to the elections, there's gonna be heat, being thrown at each other by the political parties and so on. So, but right after the swearing in of our chief, there was an assembly session, and there were like two different assembly sessions, two different sessions continuously. So first session and the continuous sessions, what I thought was not wrong, but it was too early, in a sense. Let's say BRS party is a corrupt party, for example, and whenever, and not just them, there is a party that's a corrupt party, and whenever they present a scheme, there is a scam behind it, and people, it is a possibility that people may be poor in their reasoning too. So it's not easy for less contented guy to figure out all the hidden scams of a heavy, laid out by a heavy leader on the top. So whenever someone commits a scam in the form of schemes, obviously people, because we are a democracy, obviously people would know that there's a possibility that there may be another party who will be elected to power, and they're going to be questioning us. And obviously whoever commits a scam comes up with a reasoning for that and a defense for that, and obviously whenever that is thrown, whenever allegations are thrown at them, obviously their defense is ready. So first set of assembly sessions, first session, I thought it was going to be chill, and Revant Reddy, our firebrand, went on for the work, got to do his job. Started to work on his skill, and obviously he's a gifted guy. He can reason well. That is the reason why he is where he is at. So our chief Revant Reddy, he's made his allegations, and after that defenses came flying at him, and after that sure enough, the conclusion to that to those first set of sessions were heavy heavy in favor of Congress party. Our chief countered them well. It was heavy, it was great, and that was a sigh of relief for us too. And then there was the second set of assembly sessions, and there's a thing called KRMB that is happening in our in our state, in Telangana. And KRMB means Krishna River Management Board, I think. So allegations of our party is that we are in a dire need of water for irrigation. We had this great opportunity to preserve. We had ample amount of water for our state, and whatever reason, whatever happened, the ex-chief minister and his party, handed that over or gave away what water we needed for our irrigation and stuff to the AP state chief minister and AP state and to them. So what we were saying was, we do not have our plates full, we do not have our fields full, and for whatever reason he gave up all our water that could have been utilized by us for our profit. And today, and on top of that, there is another construction called Kaleshwaram, proved to be an unsuccessful project. 1 lakh crore or around that amount of money spent on that. The total estimate for redesignings and stuff all put together, 1.5 lakh crore around that mark was set for that or estimated for that. And today it's a failed project. The main barrage thing I'm speaking about, and some say it cannot be reconstructed, so that has to be put down. That has to be that should be completely collapsed, thrown down, and whatever the next steps that should be taken. We gotta wait and see. Is it gonna be a new construction and so on? So the KRMB waters. The vibe was that the Congress party completely cornered them, had them in their pocket, caught them real well. I thought it was going to be complete ground and pound, completely bashing of them, completely beating the dust out of the opposition. And what they were saying was, this was the mood that was, there in that hall, assembly hall. And after that, what our leader Uttam Kumar Reddy ji was saying was, you guys gave up our waters to them, and who knows why. And this is what we have at our hand. We definitely took a loss, and all because of your faulty schemes, faulty decisions, and so on. And one of their leaders called Harish Rao Garu, and he stood up and said, right after the elections, right after you guys formed power, you went to Delhi, and you guys went to Delhi, including the chief minister himself, and you guys handed over the waters to the board, to the board. So to the Krishna River Management Board. So it's you guys, who have done this thing, who wrote out our waters to the board, handed it over to them, so that whatever it is, we do not know, what your intended share that you wanted to give to the AP or whatever it is. Image is we can detect these things from it. So the thing is. Right before, because Uttam Kumar ji is a veteran Congress leader, big life, big guys, they work for a party that is credible, the party that has a reputation in the country for standing up on their promises, delivering on the promises, and so on. So it wasn't adrenaline rush, it wasn't, not even anger, but it was probably he felt like it is too cheap of politics to speak on these things, because in his mind, obviously, and he said that the opposition are playing cheap politics and so on, and like he knows nothing, Harish went up and said this is not cheap politics. What we're saying is, you guys went to Delhi right after you guys came into power, at least image wise, and what we are saying is, you guys wrote that thing off and handed the waters to the board, and who knows who gets what share, because it is Telangana's water. So when that thing happened, it was dear and light. If there is a guy who knows well about content and what it can do for a politician, how far it can drag a guy from what position to what position, if there's a guy who knows it exponentially in experience, that is Revant Reddy, our chief. So it was all deer and headlights. What we thought was going smooth for us, it started to look like they were in neutral stances. It was a complete failure on BRS's part, based on Congress's allegations. So probably our chief, sat back and thought about it and probably came up with one-line answer. There's not much that needs to go into there. So if there was a contented guy, if he goes for a crack on that, obviously if Congress had it, who's like spot on every time, a contented guy would say, reply that, there's a thing called insignia level friendship or a post level friendship or post or not, or a position level or a portfolio level friendship. There's a thing called that. And because we are in power now, because we have our chief as a chief minister, and he goes to the center and talks to a union minister about it and knows, and what we and he should have said, he would have said that it is true that we went to the center, we went to Delhi, and what we wanted to do was ask what, because there was nothing on our part to hand over to the KRMB. Everything that was there to be handed over, at least good part of it, you guys handed over to the board, and you wrote it off to, and you gave it off to Andhra Pradesh, and the water we needed, and the majority stake of that waters, you gave them that water to the AP state for their utilities, for their utilization and so on. So there was nothing much for us. There wasn't anything on our part to go hand over the Krishna waters, because everything that was there, or much of it that was there to hand over to the board and AP state through the board maybe was done by you guys. So obviously what we were there for was to know, because there is this portfolio or the status friendship, so obviously they would be a bit more free to open up about the things. So brother, what's up with that? Was it a threat that really threatened the KCR and his regime, that made him really write off waters to AP, or was it was it fear? Was it something? Was there a scam that KCR was involved in and AP was really blackmailing him, or was it for money, or was it for money, or was he sold off for some money and gave off Telangana's waters to a different state? Just to know these things firsthand, because the people at the top, there's a possibility they know more about things. So that's why we went, and it's not, instead of making a video call and and talking to the guys at the power at the center, we thought it more cordial, more respectful to go in person and ask them about the waters and so on. If they would have said it, the weight would have been on them, on the BRS party. It would have been great. So maybe it was a sign from God to our chief. Maybe God was reaffirming that guy, that what you have believed in all these years, that is the thing that sets a guy up for any bigger positions. That was a confirmation. Probably it was a good thing. Experience was that these things can happen. So if there's a guy that knows well, and that knows the importance of content in assembly, in parliament, it's that guy today in Telangana, I think. So that is one of the things. So there's another incident that is one example. There's another incident that happened called the notifications thing. So our chief today marks the 90th day of his power. God grant him health, and I really pray, and I think I'm positive that he's going to be the chief minister for the next 10 years for our state. Nonetheless, notifications thing. So our chief, right after he got into power, 90 days in, 30,000 people were employed. Government employment side I'm talking about. I think they were government jobs. So people, or at least the image is which supports the BRS parties, that we gave the notifications for those jobs, and you guys came and you guys show up like you guys gave all the jobs and so on. So it looked like giving out notifications is the bigger thing, or conducting exams is the bigger thing than paying them the salaries every month. So if there was and obviously probably our top leadership didn't take it seriously, probably it didn't reach their side yet, but this can be placing good weight on our party too. So if there's a contented guy, obviously what he replies, one should be what he replies would be, we don't Well, obviously we would do the same thing. We would be giving out notifications too, but you know, only if giving out notifications and conducting exams was more costing on the government to than to pay out the salaries of people, pay out the salaries of 30,000 people every month for the next 5 years. If we knew that paying out salaries was a lesser thing than giving out notifications, we would give easy 100,000 notifications every day. You know, if we need to. So, if that's the criteria, so giving out notifications and conducting exams is profiting the government. They are bringing hard cash to the government. If there's a corrupt guy, corrupt chief minister, corrupt party, let's say there's a corrupt chief minister, what he plans is, let's announce to the state that they are we are giving out 10 lakh jobs to people, or giving out some jobs to people. So 10 lakh people appear for exams, or 20 lakh people appear for exams. There are 10 such notifications, 10 such exams in the state. So each person would have to pay 1,000 rupees as application fee, that is 2,000 crore rupees to the government. So Congress government has lost good, if that is true, Congress government has lost good 2,000 crores rupees in revenue today. And if there's a corrupt chief minister, 2,000 crore rupees goes into the treasury. And government treasury is his own personal treasury, obviously, because he's a corrupt guy. So, and giving out, appointment letters and, paying their salaries means, money is going out of the treasury of the government. So obviously that's not something, he wants to do, if that's how one thinks. So because we are these, people who are zealous for our word, for our reputation. Our reputation means more than, our reputation means a lot to us, where our reputation that we have made a promise that we'll be employing these many people. That is what, weighs out our credibility, and we are that sort of people, and obviously we have, lived up to our commitments. So, and that is why, though you guys raked in, let's say that's the thing, you guys raked in money for the applications, we were willing to give out people their jobs and salaries, and we're about to give them salaries, and we're paying salaries to the government employees, right in the first week of the month. So that's who we are, because we do not want to waste off age of people, wasting of 5 years, decade, of age of people. That's who we are. We do not want to see, poor people, rotting away, wasting away their ages, roaming around for no, having no jobs. And so that's who we are. That's what a credibility. That's what means. That's what means being political power to us. That's what we were able to do. So if that was thrown at them, it would have been a powerful jab on part of the Congress. And there's another thing, there's a thing called Delhi liquor case, Delhi liquor scam. And liquor business is nothing, it's not illegal if it's not, done in illegal means, in illegal way. So MLC, KCR's daughter, Kavita, MLC Kavita, she was in a scam called Delhi liquor scam. So if there's someone's contentless, some may think that if there was not a woman involved in this, and let's say if it was KCR's son involved in this, so obviously if there's a contented guy looks at it and he goes like, easy, this is self mud slinging, this is self mud slinging, they are slinging out mud on themselves, it is not this is profiting this is profiting KTR or the KCR team than any other, because there's a possibility that if there's someone that is not contented, who are not rich psychologically, or who are not rich in reasoning, like super rich in reasoning, people may think, people from rural parts or people of that sort with less reasoning strength may think that let's look at this thing, there's this thing called Delhi, and there's this thing called our KCR Garu and his family. People in Delhi are scared of him. People in Delhi are really trying to put him into things, trying to get him into things, trying to get him into things and really put him behind the bars, because probably he's so potent at the center. Probably, he runs things to quite a good level at the center. So they are really scared of the KCR Garu. Delhi government is scared of him, and so on and whatnot. So if there's a contented guy, what his dissection would be is, this is self-mudslinging. They have done it to themselves so that people would think. Whenever their name is spoken, also there's another thing spoken alongside it, that is Delhi, 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 and liquor, and also Delhi, Delhi and KTR, Delhi and KTR. So obviously parliament elections are upcoming, so the KCR conducts public meetings, and there are these meetings, and in these meetings he'll be saying, how dare you, Modi, we are a transparent government, we are a reputed government, we are a just government. We BRS and let's say BRS, just say BRS and justice are synonymous words. Just because you're scared of us, you are pitting us, abusing your power. You're trying to, get us into trouble just because you cannot, bear the development of our state, the progress of our state. You're trying to hinder our state. If you do not know the power of the people of our state, if we Telanganites want to fight, we'll fight to Delhi, we'll fight to wherever we want, wherever we need it, wherever we need to. In these upcoming parliament elections, we're going to win every single seat, and we're going to show you what our power is at the center, and so on. So this is I'm not saying this is true, but the contented guy is a contented guy. Dissection would be such. So that's gonna help the Congress party in a hell of a way. So, and there's another thing called there was a guy who was from the party in power back in the day, not the Congress one, and the newspaper said this guy has illegally occupied a land of someone. He grabbed someone's land, which is worth 40 lakh rupees. So if someone's contentless, they would be saying, just because he's got power, just because he's got a position and a post, and he's got all his gunmen, his security and people around him, and some power to him, he tried to loot 40 lakh rupee worth property. 40 lakh means if I leave out all my luxuries, that costs 50,000 rupees a month. I'm just saying, this is like imaginary. So content dissection again. So 50,000 rupees a month would be, for a good 80 months luxuries for my life, and he just tried to took it away just like that, just because he's got power. That's like almost 7 years of luxuries for me. So this could be mudslinging too. If there's a contented guy, content rich guy, he would be looking at it, and 40 lakh rupees. A guy in power, the thing came up in paper. So obvious thing is, this is also self-mudslinging. What they are trying to, the image that they are trying to sell here would be that, even for a crime, even if a crime is committed by the people in power, it would not exceed more than 1 crore. 40 lakh thing would be under binoculars, under magnifying glasses in the newspapers. That is the range of crimes and crimes that happen with our people. Even that happens, that would be displayed in newspapers and dailies and TV channels and whatnot. That is the image that was being tried to be sold to people there. So people can bite into that bait too. That is possible too. So if there's a corrupt guy, if we speak about corruption less than worth 40 to 50 lakh crore rupees in 5 years, we are disrespecting them. That would be dishonoring those people. It's not a good thing to do. So, and there's another thing called Agnivir today these days, and there was a scheme called Dalita Bandhu in the state, in Telangana. If the aftermath of it would be, if there's a contented guy, this could be seen as a political stunt to gain some votes, because Dalits are around 20% or more than that of population in the state. So out of 4 crore, at least good 80 lakh to 1 crore people in the state are Dalits. So the leader, what he was trying to do was, to create, if there's a contented guy who's criticizing it, there's this attempt to, this is just an attempt to, throw out 1000 rupees, and for 1000 rupees, 1000 crore rupees, and for 1000 crore rupees, he's trying to buy out 20% vote in the state. Good 45-50 would get him to power, and he can loot another 50 lakh crore in 5 years. So, though it is given only to 10,000 people, that's not even, that's let's say just 1000 crore, or so. So to criticize it, and there's a possibility that people may think that just because I'm not close to the MLA, or not one of my aides is a a guy who knows people close to MLA, or the MLA himself in the constituency. That's why I'm so far away from reaching for that 10 lakh rupees. If not for that, every I would get the 10 lakh rupee benefit like any other Dalit in the state, or probably we are the only ones missed out, who have missed out on these Dalit Bandhu scheme. Just because probably the data do not have us, or display us, government data do not display us as Dalits. Probably we need to go make, create our caste certificates and so on, and whatnot. So the thing is, give out 1000 crores and make 20% of the population talk about it every day. Every Dalit speaks about Dalit Bandhu. 10 lakh rupees for Dalits. 20% vote is secured if it is successful. So, and to support this political stunt, even the power, even the party in the power, or even let's say a corrupt party who proposes that, who presents that scheme, would come ahead and say, allegate things on their do the self mudslinging themselves again, and say there are some people, some leaders in some constituencies that are taking charging 5 lakh rupees, or charging 5 lakh rupees just to get the 10 lakh rupee check, 10 lakh rupees check to the Dalits. That is going to cost us dearly in the elections. That will cause disrepute to our party. It is not good for us. We are a great party. We are a clean party. We are a transparent party, and whatnot. We are the representatives of God Almighty on this earth, and so on. So a contented guy would say, so what is your capability, man? What are you, what is your strength? You're pitching in for 20% of voters. You got the capability to pay out at least 50% of that. Give, pay one guy in every 2 Dalits, and that would be like 1 lakh crores. If you got that muscle in you, come and see, and then come to the market and see, if we got the ability to counter you, if we got the ability to match you and exceed you, and so on. Giving out 10,000 people 10 lakhs and trying to promote it like you have given it to every other person in the state, every other Dalit in the state, and it only makes you look like a comedian. So, or it only makes you look bad. So that's a content counter. And there's another thing called Agnivir. So there's a thing called heavy content image. Let's say there's a guy who's made a heavy image and ascended the throne, who's in power, and anything or any crime that is committed by his own party and by himself too, which is of less weight than the actual power that brought him to actual heaviness that brought him to power, and anything less than that, and if it is a crime, it's not gonna topple down the completely shake that chair. It is also possible in some instances. It adds to his credibility. It adds to his weight. End of the day, guy in power is guy in power. He's got all the tools at his disposal. Power, money, media, reach, and so on. So if there's a content, Agniveer is such a thing. If there's a content, just to criticize it, just because one is in opposition, not being disrespectful. If someone can criticize, one can criticize. Is this the thing that you're trying to do, and so on. So a contented guy would be countering the BJP and Modi, saying, Congress said that BJP said they would be giving 2 crore jobs to Indians every year. And so the content guy would be saying, we know 2 lakh crore is a dream. 2 crore jobs is a dream every year. Not even for every year. Even for the 10 years of tenure, even for the 5-year tenure, 2 crore jobs is a dream. Not even a possibility of even in the imaginations. It's not a possibility to employ 2 crore people by the government directly, or people that are closely attached in employment to the government. So that's not a possibility. So at least give out 30 lakh jobs. Give out good 20-30 lakh jobs for 5 years and tell people of India that, hey guys, we're sorry about what has happened. What we tried to do was, through these means we tried to, we thought we'd be able to fetch out 2 crore jobs to Indians every year. That thing didn't pan out well. And today we are here, we got these 20 lakh jobs, get employed, get your life started and so on. Instead of wasting 10 years of your age, 5 years of your age. And we are working on it. We'll get more jobs, that is our guarantee, or we're working on it, would be fine too. So at least do that. Like I've said in other videos of mine, a political party, once their heavy image thing is countered. The first thing is heavy image heaviness. The second thing is once that tier is cleared out by a legit heavy guy in the opposition, what it boils down to is the capability, stamina of that political party. The stamina of political party, is shown by the amount of employment they create themselves right after they get into power. Let's say the amount of months' income of that state or the center being used by that party to pay out the 5-year, 60-month salaries for the newly employed employees of government by the incoming party into power. That shows us how powerful a party is. That shows us what the stamina of that political party is. It's that simple, in my opinion. So Indian government makes, central government makes good 20 to 25 lakh crores a year. So obviously 2 to 3 months' income would be 4 to 6 lakh crores, for example. So give out 20 lakh jobs, it wouldn't cost more than 3 to 5 lakh crores, or if you can, fix it up that way, set it up that way, good 3 to 5 lakh crores for 60 months in salaries of the newly employed by your own government, just to show that you are capable of doing that. So you didn't do that. At least do not, just because you do not do that, you are making the whole concept of giving out jobs by the government a bad thing, an ugly thing. Making it look worse doesn't mean the thing called employment is a bad thing. Everybody wants to be an employee of the government. Everybody wants to be a public service servant, or to get employed. There's a lot of people like that. So we know you're not able to do that. You're not capable to do that. At least you were not capable to do that. But at the same time, we're going to do that. But anyways, just because just to not waste away the age of people, just to not waste away the eligible people, waste away the age of eligible people, and really trample down their dreams and so on. At least employ good 5 lakh people. Just because you were not able to employ 20-30 lakh employees in the last 5 years, you do not make the government jobs thing look ugly, and so that place a weird fear on people. So, and that's not and this thing even doesn't work, or doesn't fetch maximum marks unless the ultimate heaviness of the BJP thing is completely toppled down. The main thing is the Hindu image, the Hindutva image. There was this image of Vishwaguru. Except for one thing, today the Ram Janam, though it is Ram Mandir construction and inauguration is a history thing, which is going into the political history of India, and obviously it is an accomplishment, a peculiar, a special, unique accomplishment for the Modi and regime, the Modi government, obviously the BJP party. But the timing was wrong. It only worked out for the will and benefit of the Congress party. If there's a contented guy, if I'm a contented guy, I would be saying, a temple is great and all of that, but at the same time, historical accomplishment definitely. But we were expecting, the Vishwaguru thing, the Hindu thing. There's this guy, he's putting on clothes worth lakhs and lakhs of rupees, who's all over the places in the world, and whenever the Vishwaguru, and obviously whenever BJP, is surfaced, there is this image of Hinduism, and whenever they're surfacing, they're not saying we're going to build philosophical schools throughout the country. But the image it sold was, whenever BJP surfaces, the image is that, at least the content guy would be saying, I'd be saying, we thought you were going to build good 1,000, 10,000 schools in the country, each having 100-acre campus, 200-acre campus, and obviously picking out students from every remote village of the country, good 100,000, good 1 lakh, 2 lakh students, spending 1 lakh crores just on that, equipping people in theological understanding and literature, giving out the tools to them which are apologetic. We have this beaten down feeling. People have been speaking about Hinduism, not in a bad way, but a defeated feeling. The beaten down feeling of Hindu philosophy is a hurt, a pain on the psychology of a Hindu, because a religion is not just a religion, that is one's essence, one's belonging, one's identity. So that is beaten down, that is going through, that is taking the hits. So obviously we thought you were going to bring out, good 1 lakh, 2 lakh students, spending 1 lakh crores at least on them, and, saffronizing the entire planet, at least making good 4 billion people of this world to become Hindus by accepting, by, getting attracted to the way of the life of the Hindus, the Hindu path, the way of enlightenment, the way of moksha, the path of moksha, and escape the samsara and so on. I'm an apologist myself. Hinduism is an under-extracted religion, it takes the hits, but it can be, presented on the equal foot as of Islam. It is a possibility. I've studied it for 10 years, good 50,000 hours of preparation, good 15 to 18 hours at least every day. Into the preparation. I know a bit about apologetics too. I'm a debater too, so I know about these things a bit. So we thought we were going to be, we were going to be the Vishwaguru. We are going to be the guys people would be looking up to, and looking for theology and stuff. And what we have, this 73-year-old individual looking all narcissistic, a temple built with 1,800 crores. I found it from Google. 1,800 crore construction, historical, but the timing was wrong. This should have been placed somewhere probably 1 year ago, or if they got into power, or right after the elections, before the end of 2024 would have been great for timing. But compared to the beaten down feeling of the Hindu philosophy, Ram Mandir construction is not a gain or a cover up for the psychological beat down. So it's a way big. The apologetic weight on the Hindu community of those who know about their religion, it was like everywhere pretty much, everywhere pretty much, at least in a lot of places in the country in the last 10 to 20 years. Courtesy Zakir Naik, Ahmed Didat, Jamal Badawi, Sheikh Shapir Ali, Shafi in Telangana, Brother Shafi in Telangana, and great people like those. So they were like on, they had the Hindu philosophy in their gods. So we thought they're gonna be this ground and pound by the Modi's, BJP's newly prepared philosophers, and the presentation would be heavy to the world. That didn't happen, and compared to that, compared to the Hinduism's beaten on feeling philosophically, theologically Ram Mandir is pretty much nothing, and we got these trolls, not in a disrespectful way, in all honesty and sincerity, obviously. So, and there were these trolls that the 73-year-old guy, narcissistic, the camera lover, it was all him in that temple area. It was not fun to watch, but definitely it was a bit weird, being honest. So, with these things in consideration, comparing the Ram Mandir, putting Ram Mandir in this bracket, it's not great for the BJP. It only worked for the well of the Congress party. Obviously, BJP never said that we are making philosophers, obviously. So image is such, and Modi ji doesn't mean just Hinduism and philosophy or the Ram. So as we know, Ram Janam Bhoomi and the construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya, the birthplace of Sri Ramchandra ji, and its inauguration is historical. Again, when the history things are written, the accomplishment by the BJP party, one cannot deny the fact that the thing that has happened is a thing that was in wait for the last 5 centuries. For 500-year-old thing has come to pass in the tenure and during the administrations of Modi ji. Definite accomplishment, historical for sure. It is going up into the political history books of Indian politics, but at the same time, the timing of it was wrong. Definitely, if there is a content guy, and if one needs to criticize everything, even the good that the government does, because people say that everything, the Hindu, the word Hindu, the thing Hindu, everything Hindu from the BJP is for political gain, for gaining in politics. So let's say let's comment on it and let's criticize it, just so that thing is also criticized too. And definitely no disrespect to that. It is great. It is one great accomplishment by the party, by the BJP. But still, if someone thinks that can help, the Modi ji and his party get some votes, and even the inauguration of it was has happened just so they can fetch few more votes. So for criticizing it, if one needs to criticize, if there's a content guy, if one wants to criticize it, the content guy would be criticizing it this way. So all the glitterous words, all the big talks, all the Vishwaguru image, that was up with the BJP party, that was associated with the BJP party, though it may not have been intentional. Whenever the BJP says, or the image that is attributed to which goes alongside the BJP, which is of the Hinduism, which is of protecting the Hindus and their rights and their image across the world, though that's not what they mean, but this is what is associated with the BJP party. So if someone's criticizing, a content guy is criticizing, obviously he would be saying like, this is nuts, this is peanuts, this is pretty much nothing. Whenever we heard Hindu, whenever we heard the BJP, and whenever we heard of Vishwaguru, we thought there are gonna be tens and thousands, if not at least 2,000 to 5,000 schools of Vedic philosophy, of Hindu thought, and there would be tens and thousands or lakhs of students picked from every corner of the country, and they will be drilled, they will be put under rigorous training of Hindu philosophy. Good campuses, 200-300 acre campuses, at least 2,000-3,000 schools that spend good 1 lakh, 2 lakh crores of rupees by the government on them for their accommodation, education and stuff. By the end of 3 to 4 years of course times, and lakhs of preachers, Hindu philosophers would be sent out into the world to preach, just like Vivekananda ji did, and gained immense respect for the Hindu fold, for the Hindu faith and also Hindu scriptures. So that didn't happen, and completely saffronized the entire planet. At least out of the 8 billion or so, or around that number, 4 billion of that would be, professing Hindu faith, professing the faith of, faith of the path of moksha. So they are out of this samsara, they are out of this suffering, they are out of this cycle of births and stuff. So, or they are out of the samsara and sufferings. They are one with the eternal spirit and so on. So, and again, I'm not saying, this is the ultimate thing for the Hindu philosophy. Hindu philosophy is a monistic philosophy, heavy philosophy, under extracted philosophy. If it is extracted well, because I'm an apologist myself, so I know that Hinduism can be presented on equal footing with Islam, as same weight as of Islam. That is easy possibility, or at least it is a possibility, because I know about it. I'm an apologist, debater myself. So I hope, going ahead down the road, things like those happen. That thing happens, and when we look at it, and there was this image sold to the people of India, at least image wise speaking, at least to few people, at least to me definitely, there was this image sold that India will be Vishwaguru, Hinduism will be the professing religion by at least half of the world's population, and that didn't happen. All we got was obvious. This temple built by 1800 crores, I found it on Google, and there is this consecration of that temple, this inauguration of this temple. Though it is historical, though it is monumental, but at the same time, compared to the beaten down feeling, the apologetic weight, past 20 years, 30 years, courtesy, Zakir Naik, because of people like Zakir Naik, Ahmed Didat, before that, Sheikh Jamal Badawi, Sheikh Shabir Ali today, and in Telangana, brother Shafi, brother Siraj. Islam apologetics was on the rise definitely 10 years ago, around that time. Today, even Hindu apologetics is definitely doing well, but definitely does not counter, does not trample down on the weight of Islamic apologetics, with which they were on top of, in a dominant position on top of the Hindu philosophers, Hindu faith defenders. So not at least 10,000 philosophers went out into the world in BJP's tenure. At least it is not publicized across the country very much. So all we got is the image that was sold, and we look at this compared to the beaten down feeling, because Hinduism is not just a religion. It is for the Hindus, it is who they are. It is associated with their soil, with their land. It is it is their belonging. It is their essence. It is their identity. It's just not some set of rules they follow. So it is not just a matter of faith, not just it is a thing of sentimental value. It is so dear to people, but at the same time it is related with their soil, their belonging, pretty much everything they are is associated with this land, and everything what their faith is about is pretty much more, a lot of it is associated with this land. So that's what is at stake here. So with that as a backdrop, and we have that beaten down feeling of the Hindu philosophy. Every Hindu knows about it. If someone knows about it, feels bad about it, definitely one has to carry the weight of it. The beaten down psychological feeling, it's horrible. It's not good. It's horrible to feel that, because I'm a Christian apologist myself. So as a Christian, I did not know much about it. Listening to the great apologists of Islam, like completely hammering the Christian faith, like beating the dust out of some people, some pastors, some apologists from Christian community, it was like horrible to bear that weight on myself. So I was like, what in the world is this thing? How am I gonna get out of this weight on top of me? So as time went by, I did this 50,000 hours of preparation, good 18 hours of preparation. Then I came to know, Christianity is a heavier religion, definitely. It has its truth claims of 100% truth and so on. So Hinduism can be presented on equal footing with Islam, that's for sure. So what I'm saying is, compared to that, content guy is commenting on it, criticizing it. What we were looking for was way too much more than this temple consecration and inauguration, and on top of that, it's pretty much nothing compared to the beaten down feeling and its retaliation, not retaliation, but leveling the scores to gaining back that pride, gaining back that great feel about being a Hindu, professing to be a Hindu, and so on. That thing did not happen. So compared to that, building a temple, and though it is monumental, the timing of it was wrong. I think my personal opinion is the timing of inauguration of the Ram temple was wrong, and people, because BJP is this Hindu defending country, defending party. The first thing that surfaces whenever BJP surfaces is the fear of beaten down feeling of Hindu philosophy by especially Islamic apologists. So the recovery hasn't happened, beaten down feeling is still real, and now we have this BJP party with this temple, and there is a 73-year-old guy. He puts, obviously I think, rightly so, deserves so, I think, but putting on 3 lakh rupee, 4 lakh rupee costumes a day with all his, vanity van, or his makeup team, his, wardrobe, management, and so on. And we have this 73-year-old Prime Minister who's become a troll material. Nothing against the BJP or the Modi BJP or on a personal level. But the image is people were mocking him, not mocking, but trolling that this guy is a narcissistic guy, this old individual at 73 years of age. It was... I wouldn't say they made a mockery of themselves, but compared to the beaten down feeling of Hindu philosophy, constructing the temple and inaugurating it right before elections definitely made them, make themselves look very small compared to Rahul Gandhi, to the Congress party. So it definitely added to the image of Rahul Gandhi more than Modi and BJP administration. Definitely Ram Mandir construction. So the number one thing that adds to the image of BJP is this Hindu thing. So there is this weird fear. So if one counters it by saying, you guys were gonna come up with at least 1-2 lakh Hindu soldiers of aggressive profession in all integrity, again in capability, integrity of the theological scriptures, presenting Hinduism to the world and completely retrieving or recovering, making people recover from the beaten down feeling of Hindu philosophy. That didn't happen, and on top of that, we have Rahul Gandhi, who's a Hindu, who comes from Brahmin community. If there is this beaten down feeling felt by a Hindu, because Rahul Gandhi is a Brahmin and comes from a community that were handed down scriptures, the Hindu traditions, for hundreds and thousands of years, the temple traditions, rituals, they were given the custodianship of it, and the Brahmin community were given the responsibility to hand it over to the next generations and preserve the traditions, the rituals, the culture, and the philosophy, the manuscripts and scriptures of Hindu philosophy. So I'm not saying being a Brahmin makes Rahul Gandhi ji a bigger Hindu, but what I'm saying is if someone feels it, because though he's not a Hindu, professing Hindu, let's say that for a minute, though he's not a professing Hindu, that is something associated with their family and his belonging and his roots. So obviously that's not something he's gonna take very lightly, or that's not something he's gonna let want to watch, taking to be taking a beating, want to watch to be taking a beating from the other religious worldviews. So the image sold. So obviously the image sold was of the skies, the heavens, and all we got. Compared to that, the Ram Mandir temple inauguration is like not making mockery of themselves by the BJP party, but it was like pretty much nothing compared to the requirement that was at hand, and it all contributed to the image of Rahul Gandhi ji. So though they did it, for probably, let's say, though they might have done it for promoting their own party, but at the same time, definitely it panned out in favor of Rahul Gandhi. So that's where is that? So that's the main thing, the Hindu thing. When that thing is countered well, and now tables are turned definitely. So the main thing is gone, the prime image, the heaviness image is done. When the first year is of heavy image, heavy reasoning strength is cancelled. The second thing, it falls down, what it boils down to, a political competition, political head-on clash, a battle. What it boils down to is a capability. How much have you got? Rahul Gandhi announced 30 lakh job placements, recruitments by the Congress party if they get to power. So obviously Congress said it, so Congress does it. So that is what a worth. That is what proves stamina of a political party, a political leader, a politician. So that's where we are at. It didn't happen with the BJP. The cover is blown off. The cover is gone. So all it boils down today is there is not this guy who's obviously veteran politician, great, definitely came from the bottom, so we respect him for that, we respect Modi ji for that. Obviously accomplishment is an accomplishment, definitely not writing it off, but compared, when we talk about politics, politics is money, politics is building lives of people, politics is the capability, stamina of a political leader, the face of the political party who's got the will, if he's got the will, if he's got the power, if he's got the strength and the zeal to deliver on ground, perform to what he has promised, and take at least 10-15 take money to the pockets of lakhs and crores of people. If one has got the ability, one's got the competence to do that, that's the guy we're looking for. So the cover is blown for BJP. Ram Mandir temple and its inauguration, the timing of it was wrong, I think. They probably should have done it 1 year ago, or probably they should have planned it by the end of this year, whoever wins, the Congress or the BJP. And probably they did not know it, the expectation, the image that was being sold to people, not intentionally obviously, I think, but they should have identified it and probably postponed it so that it would have benefited them. So all we were looking for this big giant thing, and all we got this all we got was this peanut thing compared to that. Again, historical, but sometimes even the good things do not work in our favor, because there is much better, much bigger thing that is expected of us. So that's that's where we are at. I think Rahul Gandhi Sarkar will be stepping in a few months. I really hope that happens. And all of this being said, what I'm saying is, when leading up to the elections, Rahul Gandhi and Revanth Reddy, these guys should be having good 2-3 contented guys, who can provide cover fire for the state chief ministers, chief ministers of Congress, and Rahul, and at least 5 good heavy contented guys in the parliament who can provide cover fire. Because like I've said, the thing that has happened in our state assembly, in Telangana State's assembly, the first day, the first day, it was all fireworks, bombs were being thrown, it's definitely, swinging in, it was all fire, power shown there, Revanth Reddy gone for the swing, and obviously, let's say BRS was a corrupt party. So they had their defenses, let's say this way, they had their defenses, and on top of that, the first set of sessions, in its conclusion, Congress was heavy on the BRS party, and the second time, in the second set of assembly, sessions, it looked a bit neutral, though the truth was on, I think the truth was, in my opinion, the truth was on the side of the Congress, but at the same time, what happened that day happens pretty much every day, every session. It may look neutral to people, so that's a possibility too. So it is a responsibility of our chief, of our the IFSC chief too, and Rahul Gandhi especially, and Revanth Reddy, to make sure there are people like me, there are karyakartas like me, who do not want our leaders, the guys we work for, the guys we wanted to be up in the skies and be administering to people. the guys who looked up to them to be their political gurus, to be their leaders who taught them politics, who taught them the way of life, way of work, and so on. So they should take it as their responsibility to not let their image go down. They should do everything possible to make themselves be heavy, carry themselves heavy for the next 10 years. I think our chief is going to be chief minister here for the next 10 years, and I think Rahul Gandhi will be the prime minister of the country for the next 10 years, I think, coming this election. This year's election. So by the time these guys step out of their tenures or ride into the sunsets, we do not want them to be those guys having the image that these guys were potent in their administration and stuff, but definitely been toppled down or took a hell of a beating from the opposition. They struggled, they strived, trying to find words. Sometimes the opposition, in few instances, the opposition were heavy. So if that thing happens, the Karyakarta will be Karyakarta standing behind their leaders. But at the same time, it is their responsibility to make sure that we stand behind a leader that is not, in a beaten down position psychologically, in a war of words, so that we move around freely, so that we have our heads held high and also we have our spirits high. At the same time, our self-respect does not take a beating, a battering. So it is their responsibility, and obviously Rahul Gandhi is going to go for a swing too, because all these years he's been allegating things against the BJP government and stuff. So he's not the guy who's going to hold back. So from what I've seen, he's going to be cautious and all stuff, but at the same time he's going to go for a swing. So he definitely needs that cover fire, so that the small heavier things, but not so significant things are taken care of by the contented guys who are behind him. And obviously what should be shown to the country, displayed to the country, and that thing only will be shown to the country, not something else, because Rahul Gandhi is a guy who can take money to people. So we should not let nonsense to be sold to people by having the absence of content guys for providing him some cover fire. Though he's a legit heavy guy, he definitely, I think it would be great for him to have some good cover fire in the parliament, which means having contented MPs, giving B forms and the MP tickets to heavy reasoning strength guys, so that it's all good for the country, good for the leader, good for the Gandhi administration, good for Rahul Gandhi himself. And also for the Karyakartas and the people who are under his administration, who will be, if he gets to power, who will be under his administration. So this is where we are at, friends. I really hope you have learned something new here today. Obviously, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your time here. If you are new here and if you aren't a subscriber of Political Baba yet, make sure you subscribe to Political Baba. Click on the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new thing. Please also follow and like my Facebook and Instagram accounts and pages. Thank you for watching this video again. I really appreciate your time here. I'll see you all again, guys.